The following show is a paid program.
Hey family, how you doing today? We have the best of the best with us. Mr. B. Taylor is with us. Multi-winning #1 chart-topping Sony artist, producer, songwriter, best-selling author, motivational speaker, global ambassador, advocate, humanitarian, and Navy veteran. I met my friend. I want to show the flyer. That's the flyer of myself, nephew Tommy. We met at this event, Miles of Giving, which is a nonprofit organization for veterans under the tutelage as well as the philanthropy of nephew Tommy. We met with, shout out to Latoria Lemon for putting us all together as a publicist. B. Taylor, my friend, how you doing?
Good, Cam. Hi, nice to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
I tell you, it was so exciting to meet you. I wanted you to come for Black Music Series. This is Black Music Month in June, and I was so excited to understand you're a #1 chart-topping Sony artist, producer, and songwriter. Let's jump right in. How did you get in the music business?
Man, so it started, I was in the Navy service, and when I was in the Navy, I ended up meeting Snoop Dogg, his mom and his brother, and they asked me to play for his mom's and his brother's wedding, their wedding, and her favorite song was Ribbon in the Sky. She heard me playing that. So next thing you know, Snoop calls over to the base. I become friends with the family. I'm playing at the birthday and mom's birthday and wedding when I'm actually getting ready to try out for the NFL with the Chargers, going to the NFL. Kept playing, and then meeting the Motown legends, Pete Moore of Smokey and the Miracles. He saw my package, heard my music when I was getting out, and he was like, hey, you got what we've been looking for as the Miracles to pass our Motown legacy. And next thing you know, I'm deciding between getting out the military, deciding to choose between football and music. And everyone was like, man, you've played sports your whole life in college, all Navy team, you served. Going to the NFL, you'll never be able to do something with the Motown legends. And so I ended up signing with Pete Moore and all the Miracles, the first group of Motown, Smokey and the Miracles, and took that back to the military and the Pentagon, and the rest is history.
Man, I heard your story when we were talking at that event, and I so wanted the world to hear that you had an opportunity for both. Man.
Yes. Yes, sir. It was
amazing.
Unique. Yeah, Cam, it was God, man. It was so unique to be in the military like this. I had such a unique story in the military service, getting letters so early, being an E2, reporting and talking to the Secretary of the Navy, who's over the United States Navy and Marine Corps, and our Chief of Naval Operations, the admirals, and just reporting to the higher ups and going to Pentagon was so unique. For E2, it's unheard of. And then you're going to, after war, going to play, you get nominated to play on All Navy and Team USA. You serve during service war, and then you go into the NFL, getting ready for the NFL, and then you meet Snoop Dogg and his family, and then that goes on to meet the Motown, the founders of Motown, and the Pentagon's looking like, what in the world,
Right.
So God had my journey, so it's been a heck of a journey, especially being African American. I think no matter what journey you go through or wherever God has your road, you have to take that road, and you just have to accept that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because at one point, how many people have the opportunity, first of all, to be part of Motown, then the other opportunity to be part of the NFL. So many are trying. It's great, great, great athletes, but they never get they never get to the point where they are actually drafted.
Right. You're right, Cam. It's a lot, and I believe what I did too when I studied engineering in college, and then I tested in the Navy, even though I had a critical rating and served. I tested into the nuclear engineering, and then I ended up taking the aviation electronics engineering program, AT. But I have been an engineering study, and I'm so proud my parents, preached education, because people don't understand that if you don't make it in, oh, I'm so sorry, if you don't make it in football or basketball or, music, you can
Right.
still work parts as an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, a financial advisor. There's a behind the scenes with the camera producing. You don't have to be out in the forefront. You can have these other trades and skill sets, and that's what we need to preach in the African American community. That there's only one Jay-Z, there's only one Michael and LeBron. I mean, that's one out of a million. So I was fortunate and blessed, and God had me to do this route and bless me. But if you don't, I could still fall back to be an engineer and a producer, work behind the scenes, and be sharp enough to have a trade to maybe work for Jay-Z as an engineer, work for Jay-Z as a finance account. So that's what I feel like, Kim, we need to preach into the Black kids community. Don't stop your dream, but if it doesn't work out, have a trade, and you can do something else in entertainment or sports and be something, of a skilled position for these athletes or stars. You don't have to be up in the front. It might not have been meant for you to be
Right.
the next LeBron or Jay-Z.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. We were talking earlier about COVID. It hit the end of February, beginning of March. Many of the artists that you would think, hey, they've got it all together. They're making 200 or 300,000,
Yep.
a show, 20,000 a show, 50,000 a show, but not realizing they're check to check. And they were
Yeah.
actually in the midst of having to sell or try to sell a lot of their valuables, as well as cars, trying to refinance houses and things like that during this time, because nobody knew the length of time. Now it's a year later.
Yeah, no, Cam, you absolutely right, Cam. The Grammys was doing fundraisers and concerts. I was getting texts from the Grammy Foundation and stuff to donate to this, and foundations to and concerts, home concerts, just to raise money for
Right.
artists that were struggling. And I feel like a lot of times is when you're an artist and you make money so fast, Cam, or as a producer, you're getting, like you said, 10 to $1 million a night or shows. Everyone, we're not taught financial literacy. So African Americans and minorities, we're getting that money so fast.
Right.
It's so quick, so fast, and then we're getting cars, spending it on things, and we have no financial literacy to get passive income or invest or put money up for things like this, rainy days or situations. So when these pandemics, or you stop touring or something happens, you can't tour. Now you're unloading expensive houses, expensive cars, just to pay your bills because you made 10 million that year, but you didn't spend 10 million
Yes.
that year.
Yes.
And
That's true. That's
so
true.
we don't do that. And so fortunately, I had a great management team, financial Guggenheim, Sam Osceola headed by him, and Arlisa, their financial background, worked in Guggenheim Partners, and she worked in accounting, was an executive at AT&T. So they were financially literate. And I had the Motown legends who said, look, don't be buying all this stuff.
Right.
Don't be the depreciate. Don't have all. You don't need all that. Like,
Right.
put into your home. You can have toys, a couple, but be financially sound. And so for me, it was a great year, Cam, even during the pandemic, because I had so many different things going on that I didn't miss a beat. It was actually my biggest year.
Wow. And I'm glad you mentioned that. I'm glad you talked about financial literacy. We don't speak enough of that in our communities, about financial
Yes.
literacy, and understand what depreciation is, what type of things are depreciating. We don't understand that part. We don't realize when
Yeah.
we buy certain things brand new, you take a car off the lot brand new and you bring it back that same day, it's pre-owned. It's no longer new. Same exact day. You go out
Yep.
you go out in the street and it's pre-owned when you drive back up in it.
Yep, Cam, you're so right, Cam, and that's why I see, and I would like cars, cars, nice cars, but it's not overkill and overboard. My thing was real estate and getting involved in that, and then I did art. I learned about art. My and from Guggenheim got me into art and crystals. One of my executives that works for my nonprofit, Gina, her husband is the largest distributor in the world, based out of Vegas here, of crystals and rocks in the world. Sell to
Wow.
Steve selling, and so rocks don't depreciate, crystals don't depreciate. So that's what I started to collect art and putting in the crystals and being in real estate. So everything I was buying, if there's no depreciate. So when I pass this down to kids, like you said, you pay $100,000 for a car. You know, you give it to your kids now, it's 20,000.
Right.
You know what I mean? With art and everything, and rocks and crystals and being in that real estate, you know, that's the way to go. And so I did that and dispersed and got into technology and got into things like that in the medical space with my management. So I was just diversifying, and the nonprofit aspect. So when I did do music and there was a time you can't tour, host, or producing, and the level went down, I had all these things using my education and being with the military and understanding, working with the Pentagon and the Department of Defense, you know, as well. So it was like I had different things going on, just not like some of my friends, like you saying, some of my friends, celebrities, were unloading massive properties and massive things and chains, and it was bad.
Yeah.
Cam, I'm talking
Yeah.
about, like, I was
It's
getting
bad.
calls.
It was
It was
bad.
bad.
It was bad. It's bad. Let's look at a video from you right now. This one is called We Are One. Love is all we need.
We Are One, Love is All We Need is the bridge to connect these challenging times in American history and create a cohesive voice across our nation. To unite, to support, and to join our nation's heroes, our military, veterans, first responders, and their families on this quest for love and justice for all.
My life matters. Your life matters. Humanity. All ethnicities, all religions, all beliefs need an amicable solution at this time. Although we may not all agree on all issues, but with mutual respect and self-discipline, we can fertilize our globe with the power of love. We are one.
I wake up in the morning, knowing I must go. Look into my family's eyes, full of tears that flow. Wondering, will I come back home? No one but God only knows. Did I make the right decision? Will my kids be all alone? Gotta hold back the feeling that's inside. Be all that I can be. Wear this uniform with.
Hey, my friend, I'm telling you, family, you have got to see the whole video. It is fantastic. Let's talk about several of the lyrics in there that are very, very pivotal about us. Homeless vets that come home. So many of you have gone and fought for this country, and then you've come back. Many of them have mental illness, unfortunately. Many of them disabled, many homeless. And you fought for this country.
Yes.
Let's talk about that. Why that was so serious and putting that in the music, in the song.
You know, I wanted to, you know, what I was trying to do, you know, being in this Goodwill Global Ambassador Advocate, you know, that for our military veterans and first responders and their families, meaning, you know, I work with the leadership of the Secretary of Defense and the DOD and our Chairman of Joint Chiefs and the public affairs of the Pentagon leadership, as well as the VA, Secretary of the VA office and public affairs as well as the VA Veteran Affairs Committee, you know, and with their initiatives. And that's, you know, a big thing. And when we look at this pandemic, really, when you started to see where we needed the help, it wasn't separated. See, the country is separated. Well, military is to the left, veterans is over here, first responders are over here. But when it came down to this pandemic, you needed the active duty military National Guard were called. You had Navy ships housing COVID patients, and Navy ships for the first time pulling in, docking in New York and in California. You had veterans coming back who were retired in the medical field that were had a critical rating and were medical, and they came back active duty. Then you had first responders as well. So it was like all service members were working together, but yet alone, when we come to the country, you see a veteran, who has issues, we figure, oh, the military's got it. Oh, we don't need the help. And so it showed that everything is one. We are all one, and everything is one, and we needed love to beat this pandemic. And so with the situation with the homeless vets, it's been a big disconnect in the country, and it's not the lack of resources, Kim. The resources are all over. Mm-hmm. We got therapy, we got art therapy, we got yoga, we got all these different things, but it's not housed under one umbrella. So if you got someone, say in Houston, that's a veteran that heals through music therapy, and I live in Vegas, he doesn't have the money, or if he's active duty military or his family, they can't just fly out here and stay a whole 2 months or months out for music therapy. So it's not been the lack of resources, it's never been a hub. So what I did, working with Congressman Bilirakis, who was the vice chair of the Armed Veteran Affairs Committee, he created the COVER Act that's tied to the Mission Act that says we can heal how we want to heal, and created like this task force board to create a one-stop shop prototype. Mm-hmm. So I came to Houston and with the Woodlands area and with the Horizon Hospital in the Woodlands, secured 30,000 square feet attached to the Horizon Hospital. Over there, CEO Debbie, she's a widow of a Navy SEAL vet. So it was like a lot in common. And so came to renovate this 30,000, which we're doing, renovating 30,000 square foot prototype under my One Life organization called the One Life Wellness Center. So it's going to be music therapy, art therapy, yoga therapy, neurotherapy, cryptotherapy, animal therapy, a state-of-the-art gym facility, a career counselor for job placement, your GI Bill for education, your VA home loan, career counselor for your home loans or military temporary location, a chaplain, because in the military we have chaplains that if you need prayer, a chapel prayer. So it's a wellness dietitian for if you want to eat healthy. So you have all of these things under one umbrella to duplicate so that I can work with Congress. They said I can do it in the private sector. Now they would work with me now through One Life to duplicate these across the country. So military veterans and first responders now can be a part of this one-stop shop hub to duplicate these, just like we do McDonald's, like we do YMCAs, but now they have somewhere to go to heal and get back acclimated into society. And what that does too, Cam, it allows us to bring civilians who teach Pilates, yoga, art. Now they start to understand dealing directly with veterans, dealing directly with military of how we operate. So now that civilian that sees that veteran home walking or has issues with PTSD before any of these shootings happen that have happened with military that shot up stuff because they had issues, instead of the civilians or neighbors getting on TV going, yeah, we knew he had issues for 2 years before he did this and committed suicide. Now when they see him, they go, oh, send them over to the One Life Wellness Center. So now we become this aid to the VA hospital, not like we're trying to get rid of the VA because it's the biggest healthcare agency behind the DOD in the world. You're not going to get rid of the VA, but now we become an aid, and now we get civilians to connect the bridge. So now younger people in society starts to go, oh, here's the wellness center, because they can relate to music therapy, yoga, working out, art therapy. So now we don't lose any vet. We get them straight. He starts to be acclimated back in society, healing. Now he used those skills that he did as a SEAL or a Green Beret or a fighter pilot or an intelligence specialist. He used those same skills to now be acclimated back into society. And so I've been blessed to secure that during the pandemic in the Woodlands, and we're renovating it now for us to open next year. With the new One Life Wellness Center, and then to do work with Congress and to get the DOD and everybody to come to the grand opening and then duplicate this across the country.
I am so glad you mentioned that. We'll be right back. We'll take a break on the Cam Hill Show.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact the Cam Hill Show at gmail.com.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey family, we're right back with Mr. B. Taylor. Let's talk about the fact my life matters, your life matters. I love that in that whole verse. Why that?
Yes. Because that's what it is, Cam. You know, I grew up son of a preacher, pastor, my father, and everybody in the Bible, everybody's lives matters. You know, when we go before the Almighty himself, he's not going to be like, okay, you black over here, you better over here, you're white over here, you better, you're Asian. It's going to be like everybody bleeds the same. And, you know, when I went to the military, you know, military is kind of like sports. You got guys that they'll put together, Cam. One guy can be from the 5th Ward, never been around white people that much, be from the 5th Ward, and then you can have a white guy who's from North Dakota, never been around any black people, and they'll put two together in a bunk mate, and they might not get along at the very beginning. It's going to be crazy, but the military structure is so fine, like you can't break it, and you'll see these two guys become the best of friends. So you'll see the platoon that I have some Latinos, some blacks, some whites, some Asians or Filipinos, Indian. We all be in this military, and everybody becomes the best of friends. And so I just feel like, you know, we have issues in this country, and yes, systematic racism exists because it's happened to me. I know, Cam, it happened to you. If you're a black man in the country, you've had some form.
Yes.
I don't care who you are, but at the end of the day, it's about working together and everybody's lives mattering, you know, and just getting the things that need to be get right. We need to fix those, but everybody matters. I can't turn my face up. You know, I'm headed by a white manager. I have white managers and female. Like, I don't just have black people, you know. So for me to be like, oh, I'm going to turn myself way aside, that's not, I'm a religious person. That's not how Jesus did it. Jesus died for everyone. So, you know, he died on the cross for all of us. So to me, it's like everybody's lives matter. And that's why I worked with the DOD to put this historical video together, shot it during the pandemic, Cam, in August when no one was shooting last year, July. Right. They stopped all filming. I mean, Top Gun would stop. I shot in the Gulf with Homeland Security, with Coast Guard, all the branches. In Florida, Special Operations Command shot every branch, got clearance from the VA to shoot in the VA hospitals with the nurses and doctors and first responders, and then got clearance also to go through the bubble to shoot with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mm-hmm. So the fact that the Super Bowl, I shot the Buccaneers was in the video. So all of this was shot during a pandemic that was no filming, and that just showed how God could open up doors. And then the fact to be able to debut this at the Super Bowl, with Terrell Owens introducing me on the Jumbo at the game, to be able, and the Bucks to win the Super Bowl and be in Tampa. It's an honor. So now we're just pushing. We're with the NFL. I couldn't perform it, so it's going to be in LA. So working now, I had all of the celebrities. I had all the veteran organizations, leaderships. They were going to stand in unison with, and I had the DOD had approved me for the military band to play this song with all branches standing in unison with veterans, with first responders and children, and celebrities, as we are one. So we couldn't perform it. So now the Super Bowl's in Hollywood. So I'm taking that same thing and going, okay, Mr. Goodell, we couldn't do it at the pandemic. You had to do it on the Jumbotron, but I've got the DOD. Now we can actually do it. All the stars are in LA. You've never seen a Super Bowl. We need to change the way we honor veterans and military.
Right.
Don't just have flying over for 20 seconds of the Super Bowl and then you got a guy standing there saluting or holding a flag for like 20 seconds. That's not how we need to honor service members and veterans. And the best way to do it is this song with me perform, not just me about performing, but performing this in unison with our children, with the military active duty, accompanied by the military band, with veterans who have served, and with first responders who serve every day and save lives, as well as those celebrities that support that. That's the impact that needs to happen in the NFL. So everybody said they're in to make it work with me, to make it happen. And approaching Anna over there, the vice president of NFL, and go, okay, we did it this way. It was an intro with the Jumbotron, but let's do it the right way and change the narrative of how we're honoring our nation's heroes instead of these little flyovers for 20 seconds, because that's not cutting it, Cam.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you talked about that. I'm so glad you brought that out, because we're looking at the fact that with first responders, you spoke in there about the fact they don't know if they're going to come home. Every single day that they leave, they don't have a clue. Their families don't have a clue if they're going to come home. They don't know if that's the last day where they make that last run, they take that last call, domestic violence or whatever it might be, armed robbery or whatever. They might be the ones to get shot and killed.
Man, Cam, you're so right, Cam. I got cousins. I got about 6, 7 cousins that are cops.
Yeah.
I got some that are cops. I had nurse friends and nurse. They were so scared because they're trying to save lives. They couldn't do anything with saving lives, and then they were trying to keep themselves healthy, and they got kids. I mean, it was just, did people forget about what cops? Because not all the cops are bad. We're just looking at the little percent. Mm-hmm. But the other 99% of cops, they got families, they got kids, they got lives just like us. And so we need those, because when something happens bad, I'm not calling you, Cam. If something's bad going on, dying or robbing, I'm not going to call, hey, Cam, can you come over here? The first thing you calling is 911. That's what you're calling. And 911. So I think we got to get it right with some of these cops. I think the training needs to be different. In the military, we have a different type of training for things, and I feel like the cops, the training and the laws need to be set up, and we need to train the cops better and start putting cops who are from those communities into those communities, because they know how to deal with those certain communities. We need to put cops in there, more cops that way. And if you're not from the communities, they need to be trained differently so that this is not coming up shooting, because I got pulled over, Cam. This was right before the pandemic in 2019 or 18, Las Vegas. And I know Sheriff Lombardo, the Attorney General, I know everybody, the Deputy Neville, they all know my father's church and know everything. And so I'm going and I'm driving the car, I see the 2 white cops, they kind of follow me, and I was taking something over with my assistant, or not, I was by myself. I was taking something over to a friend. Her daughter had got enlisted in the military, so I was giving a gift, and it was night, it was dark, so I just ran over real quick, and they live on the from where I live, it's the north side of town, it's nice, but not upscale like that, from where I live. So I seen the cops, I get out, Cam, they come around and like, woo, get your hands. And so instead of me going, what, but having my military training and understanding that training from my dad, I was able to be calm and let them get up on me. And I said, look, because they were talking, what are you, is this car stolen? Is this, what's this? Because I had a protein powder and it was like, is this Coke? And all this, this was crazy. And I said, look, man, I said, when you run me, this is who I am. And look in my pocket. Your boss, Cam, Deputy Neville, Sheriff Lombardo is my friends. Their cards in my phone, and I got a DOD card in there, Department of Defense card. So when you start seeing, you're gonna see FBI and all kind of stuff when you pull my wallet. When they pulled my wallet, they were like, "Oh man, sorry." I said, "Look, guys, I know y'all new rookies, but y'all gotta understand how to work with us. I could have took y'all badge numbers right now and went to Sheriff Lombardo on his cell phone and said, look, Sheriff Lombardo, this is what these guys did. He knows where my family is. But I said, look, y'all need to understand these communities that y'all work in and just stop jumping into collusion, because you might not come out safe this next time. It might be where you do something bad to somebody and y'all going to spend the rest of y'all time in jail, or y'all not going to have a job. Mm-hmm. So take this as a learning lesson for you guys, because I'm a calm together and I served in the military. So I know how to, dictate different things, and thank God I had that training. So that's what I was able to do, but not a lot of us have been fortunate. So we do need it, but we need our first responders, Cam. We really do.
We really do. I'm glad you spoke on that, because we do need that. We need our first responders. We're calling 911. We need somebody immediately, that's coming out. Right. Fire, police, whomever it might be. We need them immediately, and because we're in danger. Right, Cam, we do. And so that's why I've been able to work and be this goodwill ambassador and global. And that's where that song came from. We are one. Mm-hmm. Love is all we, just all of us coming together. As you know, Cam, we had a lot of deaths over the past 15 months of people from COVID just died. Babe, my father never been sick. He was on a ventilator since March. For all the way to Christmas, Cam came home. He was 10 oxygen, 60, 69, 70 on ventilators, oxygen machines. Couldn't get him right, man. Was in and out of hospital 29 times, was on a ventilator too. I mean, it was bad. Then mom caught it. So for a time from March to December, dad was sick, but from April to August, both of our parents, and we didn't know. Really?
Yes, and I'm dealing with the doctors and disease infectious doctor, lung doctor, heart specialist, kidney specialist. We dealing with at this time you're dealing with 4 or 5 different type of doctors, because they were trying to get a hold of this, and seeing your dad and my dad on a ventilator, and my dad was fighting, Cam, but he's a man of God and he came out, but I had about 9 family people pass in the last 15 months. My dad's 2 sisters and brothers, and they died, and then some young family members that died in their sleep, and then, and stuff like COVID, and so it was taking different people out. And I just feel like when I seen all this going on, it came back to the basics. We are one. Love is all we need. If we're going to be winning anything, you have to win with love. What I mean? Love is the key. You can't win with any other way. And understanding that we need to fix things, but we need to come together and fix it in love. Not I'm better than you, you better than me, but in love. And when we do that, we can start to change and see a change amongst the youth and the younger generation who are looking up to people on TV, and adults and teachers. They're following everything they see. So if you see more love and more service, you don't have to serve in the military like I did or others to be a service. You can serve going to feed. You can take canned goods down twice a month. Just go feed the homeless. Go pick out an outfit at Walmart and donate it to people that don't have clothes. You can you can do different things like this as service. And I feel like in schools, we need to teach service, not just military service or what veterans do, but service. Children need to learn more of service, because once you learn service, you take that with you as an adult, and you become better acclimated into not just worried about I, or me, but team. You see what I'm saying? And so I feel like service should be something that should be taught in the schools, or we should teach that more to our younger generation, because that's the key. Service, being service is what makes our society better. Service.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. Let's also talk about your nonprofit real quick.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Yeah, One Life organization. It's for military veterans and first responders. As I said, I have 2 programs. The Wellness Center with the therapy that we're duplicating around the country, with the first one opening in Houston in the Woodlands. And then I have another program called the Heroes Experience, ran by my director, Ethan. He's the director of my Heroes Experience. And what that was is I partnered, because I played sports and knew different things. I would partner with NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, entertainment. And so I give these heroes where I take them on a full day experience, where they go eat and they go to the games and they interact with the ball players, with the leadership of the organization. And then we have dinner, and it's like, and then I take them shopping or whatever bills they need or furniture. So it's like a whole heroes experience. I did it with the Super Bowl, where I took 20 plus veterans, military first responders and their families, 30 plus, for the NFL Heroes Experience. And so I do that around boxing, with everything, so that they can, get that experience on the court and get the VIP, but actually interact with the players and the celebrities, and actually interact with the coaches and the ownerships, to interact, to have a whole, I call it the One Life Heroes Experience. And so I do that. That's my second program. So between the wellness program and the Heroes Experience, really helping our veterans and making a change.
Absolutely. I'm glad you said that. We're going to look at a video of you real quick, but with this video, it's called Let's Get This Party Started with Ray J, and we're going to go to break, and we'll come right back with the Cam Hill Show.
Chicago, Detroit, New York City, Miami, B. Taylor, ATL, Ray J, Los Angeles, Real Major. Let's go. Let's get this party started. Let's get it right. Let's go. Let's get this party started. So come on and ride it right. Let's go. Let's get this party started. Let's get it right. Let's get this party started. So come on and ride it. Yo, I came to get the party started. You're looking at me, girl, like you wanna get retarded. I like the way you're moving, that's good.
We'll be right back to the Cam Hill Show after these messages. The Cam Hill Show. If you'd like to advertise your business or become a sponsor, contact the Cam Hill Show at gmail.com.
Move up at Ron Carter Cadillac. Drive the new 2021 Cadillac XT4 Luxury Collection for only $319 a month. The new 2021 Cadillac XT5 Luxury Collection for only $399 a month. Both for 39 months lease with just $1 down. Or purchase either and enjoy 1.9% APR for 60 months plus bonus cash. Gulf Freeway, just 2 minutes south of the Beltway.
Shop smarter when you shop Ron Carter. RonCarterCadillac.com.
My prenatal promise is to make sure my baby is safe and healthy, because I know it is possible to acquire syphilis, HIV, or other STDs without knowing it. Getting tested is my very first chance to protect my baby. Doctors are required to give expectant mothers 3 separate tests for syphilis. If you're pregnant, ask your doctor if you're being tested properly for syphilis and other STDs. Congenital syphilis can lead to a miscarriage, stillbirth, or an infant death. Don't risk your baby's health. To find out more, visit myprenatalpromise.com.
And now back to the Cam Hill Show.
Hey, family, we're back with Mr. B. Taylor. I love that song. Let's Get This Party Started with Ray J. How did it come about?
Man, I met Ray when I first signed over 10 years ago, 11 years ago. Was working with him on music, met him through the Motown Legends. He had the same publicist as Smokey at the time, and so him and Brandy are like brother and sister to me, and Mr. and Mrs. Norwood, and ever since then we've just been working together, and I've been really tied to him and Snoop. They're like brothers and everything. So it's a great family. And, you know, I always, he was one of the first artists I worked with when I signed. He was the first with producing him and doing records. So it's been a great relationship.
Absolutely. I'm so glad about that. We had talked a little bit earlier about the fact that 10% music, creativity, but it's 90% business. We need to talk to some of the new artists and existing artists maybe. So about the business side. Business is very serious. We saw it in COVID. We were talking about people losing a lot of things along the way. And let's talk about contracts. Let's talk about what people need to do to get themselves in an aspect, because this is the new normal, right? We're going into new normal. This is a new time for us. Different things are happening. And we need to get it to a point where we won't be in the same position, let's say.
Yes, Cam. My first thing you need to do is when you're doing contract, if you're not a lawyer by any name, you need to get an attorney that's going to have your best interest. And you need to understand what you're signing. You need to understand, if you're an artist, you need to understand what advancement is, how you going to pay it back, what's coming out your royalty rate, when you're going to get paid. You know, audit what auditing is, asking that who's going to audit, who are you going to have to audit. If you're a producer or an artist and producer, your songwriting, your publishing, how much you're getting. Understand the 200% pie of the publishing, not the 100 art part and the 100 part that goes to the label. You need to understand how much they own and when you're going to get published, you know, when you're going to get your percentage and how these things work. And that comes through asking those questions as an artist with an attorney and going through this with a fine comb before you just send. Because what they do is you sign, you get this advancement money on top, but you got to understand you're not getting any more money until you start making money. So yeah, you might get a couple $100,000, and that's what they do to us, because you got people that ain't never had any money before. So you thinking that a couple $100,000 is $1 million, but you talking about you might not get a check for another 18 months or 24 months if you're not out there and your records are not coming out and you're not moving around, because your album not just gonna come right out. You might sit for a year, you might sit for 2 years. So that $200,000 is the percent goes to your management, that's your living, your studio costs, any assistance you paying. And when you start dwindling it down, you start seeing that go very, very, very quickly and stuff. So you need to know when you come into music how to budget your financial literacy, getting an attorney, knowing if you get an advance, put yourself on the budget. Don't go out there and take $200,000, go get a $100,000 car, because you're not going to be able to upkeep that car. If your album's not coming out, you don't know if you're single, they're going to put your single out. It might think it's coming out, and then the music business is funny on switching up. Oh, well, we're going to push you back because we're putting out Beyonce stuff.
Right.
You know, these are the things you're not told, and you know, as an artist and a producer and songwriter. So, you know, having a great management team. I made mistakes, but I had a great management team and Motown legends, and I listened. My father was like, yeah, everybody's saying, oh, the Motown legends are older, but they wisdom, they knowledge, they icons and iconic. And so they would tell me what things not to do, and, you know, getting the right people. And Mr. Moore would always tell me, I remember him and Joe Jackson. We was trying to cut corner in the beginning of my career, going to get somebody who wasn't a publicist but knew a lot of networking and a lot of people, but they were in the background of, like, they were in some business background or something. They weren't a publicist, so they were going to charge us less. So we was trying to save money, and so we got them. And when it started after a month, then start panning out, it wasn't working. I was like, man, this is not working. I'm gonna have to get another publicist. And so when I was talking to Mr. Moore, and I was at the studio, and they was in the studio with me and came in, and I was like, man, yeah, we gotta get another publicist, the management, because this one. And they said, what was the person's background? I said, it was like business, something, business. They said, youngster, look at this. If you got corn on your foot, I'll never forget this, Joe Jackson and Pete Moore of the Miracles. If you got corns on your foot, I said, yeah, who you gonna get to look at it? Are you gonna get this optometrist just because he cool, who look at eyes, to come operate on your foot? Or are you gonna get and pay that money for a doctor who was a foot doctor to do that? And I said, I'm gonna get the foot doctor. They said, well, why in the heck did you go get an optometrist to look at your corns? That's what you did with this publicist. And so once they told me that, We never cut corners again.
Right.
You have to, we're big on that. Do they have the wherewithal and the ability to do what's needed done? If they don't, you don't get it, because they're perfectionists. People didn't understand that. I was with Motown icons, Mary Wilson of the Supremes, Claudette of the First Lady Motown, Smokey Pete Moore, Joe Jackson, Martha Reeves, Duke of the Four Tops. These are icons. They move different, and people don't. And Gladys Knight, they're iconic. And so Berry Gordy and those legends, Smokey, they're perfectionists. That's why Michael and Stevie Wonder were the way they were as kids, and so longevity, because the perfectionists, because that was required at Motown. So when I'm coming in as a youngster with them, it wasn't like they were going to change for me, So I learned different, I learned all this stuff, and that's what I try to teach all these artists and stuff. Like, here, let me give you some knowledge, because I came in with, some of you guys couldn't even be in the room with these Motown icons, because they like, look, you gonna listen to what I say? I never forget, Cam, I have to say this, man. They asked me, we were sitting in the first studio session, it was all the Miracles, Joe, B.B. King came in, Cuba Gooding of the Main Ingredient, that I was friend, Mr. Gooding, Aretha was on the phone, the Skype thing, and I was doing my first session, and I was nervous, and I'm like, man, I just signed to these Motown legends, and they said, look, before we did the music, they sat me down, and they said, how many number ones have you had? I said, none. How many Grammys have you won? I said, none. What, are you in the Grammy Hall of Fame? I said, no. Are you in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? I said, no. Are you in the Rolling Stones greatest records of all time? I said, no. Have you ever discovered the Stevie Wonder of a Michael Jackson? I said, no. Well, don't bring nobody in this room to tell us how to do this music. We're going to teach you this. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say until you get one of those markers.
Right.
So I was quiet, and it was a checking point for me, because it was like, we don't care about the military, we don't care about your football, we talking about this. So we don't want to hear nothing about that if you have not, or the person has not done those things. Don't come bringing nobody in who has not went through this list. Your mom, your dad, brothers, we don't care. We talking about people who's on this list that's done this. And that was the thing. My dad told me, he said, son, you got to listen to them folks. They mean it. They said, if you don't listen to us, we out. We're not going to sign you. We're out. We're going to mess around with legends. We're out. And so when I did that, so I got my first number one, Change, Cam. Now I was like, I kept asking them, because I would always have the respect. I'd be like, hey, Mr. Moore or Claudette, do y'all want me to? Man, you got number one now. We told you when you hit that list, we know you know what you're doing now. But until that list, Cam, they didn't want to hear nothing I had to say. They didn't want to hear nothing I had to say.
But you know what? I'm so glad that happened, because you were able to listen to people that have music that's timeless. Timeless. Yes. It's still relevant now. Their music is still playing right this moment.
Right now, Cam, and that's what they taught me. They said you want to make timeless music.
Yes.
Timeless music and everything. So I've been blessed, Cam, and I wanted to come on your show too, because I know you African American media. I wanted to also let you know I'm a part of the Mandroli. So the Mandroli is the new first ever signature Nelson Mandela card. I'm making announcements. They made me I met a few years ago, Tammy Massey, who was the founder, reached out to me about working with her and Daleka Mandela, Mr. Mandela's oldest granddaughter, who was his caretaker, about working with them for a music program, using the one through my life and partner with the Mandela Foundation for the music program. So I was excited like that, because we talking about Nelson Mandela and the foundation. So I was putting that, we were working on that. And then right before Christmas, they sent over some paperwork about the card. So Tammy Massey, working with her Daleka Mandela, the other co-founder, they go get the rights with the Presidential Foundation to put his signature on a card and name it the Mandroli, coming from his last name of M-A-N-D and then his middle name, Rolli Shasha, R-O-L-L-I. So they go get the paperwork to find, and they send me this packet and said, hey, man, we love what you stand for with the Motown, with your military, what you do for kids and veterans and your music. We want you, and you got an engineering background, we want you to be the co-founder of the Nelson Mandela Mandroli first ever signature card with his signature on it, luxury car. I said, are you kidding? I thought it was a joke, Cam. I ain't gonna lie.
Wait a minute. You got to go back. This is not an actual automobile, a car that
This is
you
the
all are
first
putting together. The first one.
first-
My God.
It's the first electric car with Nelson Mandela, called the Mandroli, from his last and middle name, called the Mandroli, and it's going to have the Mandiba Nelson Mandela signature on every car. And they're doing 3 to 5. We're doing 3 to 5 supercars, and then doing the rest of luxury sedans. It's going to be the first ever with his signature on anything. And they've got the right, and we partnered with the foundation, and we just 2 days ago, let's say this, 2 days ago, they're going to be making a big announcement about the financials, but we signed the paperwork 2 days ago for the financials, and signed it, and it's happening. This is going to be one of the most prestigious named car ever. There's no other car. I don't care if it's a Ford, a Tesla. When you say Nelson Mandela, this man has over 200 awards, statues, parks named after him, schools, streets, every award, Nobel Peace Prize. He's got things in different countries, statues in different countries. So it's going to be it's called the Mandroli, and it's the first electric car, first car space founded by Black women, who is his granddaughters, Tammy Massey, the founder, who did an excellent job, and Deleka, the other co-founder, Deleka Mandela, and they have made me an equity partner even as a co-founder. So for me, that was just a highlight for me in my life, to be able to be granted this stuff with the Department of Defense, our biggest organization, to walk into the legacy of Motown, the biggest music legacy in music, and to cap my career off by being a co-founder of one of the biggest individuals to ever walk the planet Earth,
called this earth. Yes.
The face of the earth, Nelson Mandela. To be able to have a Mandroli car with these Black women, and to be able 2 days ago to actually sign the financial paperwork that Tammy signed, and we're getting ready to make the announcement. They're getting together the press for that to come out here in a few weeks of the whole shebang. But it's an honor, man. So be on the lookout for it, because it's going to be one of those cars. What can you say about the Mandroli? What can you say about Mandroli, Nelson Mandela's signature? You can't even talk. No. I don't care where you are from the face of this. This man had more world presidents at his funeral. He had all 5 of our presidents. Yes. 5 presidents and over 70, 60 presidential figures at his funeral. You're talking about an iconic guy next to the Pope and the Dalai Lama. What can you say about his car and what that car stands for? Wow. You can't. No matter if you don't like us or not, you can't say a bad thing about the Honorable Nelson Mandiba Tata Mandela. You can't. Wow. You can't.
I'm so proud
excited
of you, my friend. I'm so proud of what you've been doing. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you,
and everything. I wanted the world really to know your story. Thank you for this opportunity to tell it. Thank you for the opportunity to share it. And thank you for stepping out and taking this road, because you could have taken another road. Yes. But thank you for following what God has told you. Thank you for following his pathway. And thank you for all that you've done for the world in your time, and you keep doing. We appreciate you. We appreciate you.
I appreciate you, Cam. And this is for our kids, Cam. This is for bigger than me, Cam. For our children and our kids, and it's bigger than me. And once I understood that with God, you can understand that, and the legends would tell me, and my dad would say, it's bigger than me. God just used me, as I always say, on a vessel. I'm the vessel, and this is for our young brown-skinned African-American kids and minority women and little girls, that you can do these things if you put God first, but don't let it you get bigger than it. If God chooses you as a vessel, you do it in the right way, and don't try to become bigger than it, because if you become bigger than it, you will fail. And so I just feel like I was one of the people on this earth that God put on this vessel to do some great things, and I'm just going to keep doing it until my time is up, Cam. So
wow. And I want people to know, many times now B. Taylor is very quiet. You will never know all of this about him until you actually sit down and talk to him. But I wanted the world to know that you have done so much, and still doing, and still looking out for people, because you, my friend, never, and I in the time I've known you, you have always asked, what is it for, what can I do for others? Like Martin Luther King always says, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yes,
just
sir.
that question that we wake up and we ask, what can I do for others? My friend, you have embodied that. You're the epitome of Black excellence. And I so thank you for the opportunity to be a friend and say, I know B. Taylor. Thank you for it.
Me too. Thank you,
Thank
Cam.
you.
And you're doing a great job too, Cam.
I
Your show is
appreciate it.
great. You're doing a great job, and we need more like you as well, Cam.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you, my friend. We're going to call you back. We're going to try to get in touch. Well, we're going to call you in a few. Get in touch with you, find out what everything else. And we're going to be posting that, family, of everything that he's doing, all of the things that you can get into and how you can help. B. Taylor, tell them how they can get in touch with as your organization, your nonprofit, how people can just keep up with you.
Yes, you can go to btaylor.com and or at btaylorofficial for all my socials, and on those links you can get through to myself and my management and at One Life organization. You can get through. Just go to anything at btaylor.com or btaylorofficial, and you'll find everything from the organization to the music to the nonprofit to veterans. And just keep supporting us, and know that I'm out here representing our service members and heroes in every platform that I can. So.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for the opportunity, my friend. The Cam Hill Show, 12:30, 1:30 Central Standard Time. See you then. Bye.